Well, today is Remembrance Sunday, and I thought what a better place to be than in this wood. And you may ask, why in this wood? Well, if we go back to May 1940, the capitulation of France meant that a lot of our aircraft were coming back, and they wanted somewhere to store their reconnaissance and survey planes and aircraft, and they chose Hatfield. The only problem was that Hatfield was a huge factory there where they manufactured all the aircraft for the war, and de Havilland were not too happy about them being there, so they chose this wood as well instead. And you see, this is a perimeter track, and this outer perimeter track goes all the way round the actual wood. And in here we will see, well, there's pillboxes, there's slit trenches. They were all prepared. They had 3 runways out on the fields out there with a summer-filled track. It was like a loose tracking that they laid down as a temporary runways. Anyway, it's going to be a marvellous visit. It's an absolute gem. So just the first point on this perimeter track. Now in here would have been one of the first dispersal pans. This is where the aircraft would have sat, and then when they were ready to come out, it would be out onto this outer perimeter and then down to the tracks down there, and then tally-ho, chocks away and all that. Now just to give you an idea, here's a plan of the wood, and we have the 3 main runways. We are actually up here at the moment, and this is where they would have come out onto the perimeter and then taken off from this runway here. I think this would have been the takeoff runway. Also this one here, because you could have dispersed up to there and then down. And I believe this one coming from this neighbouring farm here was actually where they landed. So let's get round to the next pan, because you'll find this one is really complete. And also apparently it's got an adder pit, so there's lots of hissing snakes. Okay, here's the first one. So this is the first dispersal pan. Now, it would have been a little bit wider here. Obviously the trees have grown up either side, but this is literally where, so it would have been wide enough to take the aircraft. And we're going to go down this track, and you'll actually see that there's the trenches down here where obviously you know, all the pilots would have suddenly appeared from and dispatched and got onto their aircraft. Wow, look at this. It's a beautiful day. Bit windy, but it's pretty sheltered in here. So, can anybody see the snake pit? We were told by the farmer there's a snake pit here. We'll see. And here we go. Here's the first evidence. So this is where they would have come out to their aircraft. Let's go through and see. Whoa. Well, this is fun. There we go. There's a little bit dark in here. In fact, I think I may just put my headlamp on. Let's see if we can get a bit more light. But look, we come out here into the wood. This is marvellous. Look at this. So it's built up all the way along here, right through here. See, there's a series, this trench here, all been dug out by shovels, goes round here, and it goes up there, and then it also comes down here. Now there's a pond over there, and there's a little story to be told about this pond. Right, now apparently during the war there was an American pilot who was escorting some bombers back to here. One of his engines went down a few miles back, and he lost it. He couldn't get to the airfield, and apparently he crashed in this pond here. And he drowned. So it's a terribly sad story. We did actually, on a more cheerful note, do some magnet fishing here, and I would recommend it if anybody wants to get completely covered in pond slime. I recommend magnet fishing. And by the way, I didn't find any magnets, so it's pretty disappointing, but hey ho. It's an absolute labyrinth around here. This is fantastic. We're just coming through another defensive trench. We're coming out here, and you can actually see the remains of a pillbox. So this you would have actually walked in to another pillbox, and so this would have been the edge of the woods. It just extends out a bit further now because of, you know, sort of growth. But yeah, look, this is all the old concrete stones. They're all covered in a beautiful moss now. Actually, colours are gorgeous. I mean, it's autumn, and you know, it's not a better time of year really. So this is the old munition store. Look at that, nice World War II building there. It's absolutely pitch black inside, even with the torch it's absolutely rubbish. But I will attempt to come in and have a look. Just down here, there's the original door. You just see an old door there, which would have well, it would have been in here somewhere, but then inside here, absolute pitch black. But I'm going to take you through. My nephew, who's with me here, is kindly holding, well, I say it's a candle. It's about as good as, but you know, he's trying. God bless him. You know, give him his due. That's it, mate. Yes, you're doing a lovely job. Okay, out the other side. Whoa. This is great, isn't it? I mean, just stuck in the wood. Wonderful. Brilliant. Now here's the one of the first pillboxes. It's near to the command centre, but we thought we'd look at that. That lovely. You can just see it. That's a great big gun sticking out of there across the fields. You know, and apparently it wasn't that long ago that a gun was actually found in here. So you know, amazing. Let's go in and have a look. Whoa, here we are. Let's see what sort of what views do we afford. There you go. You forget about the blooming plastic stuff there. Yeah, you would have had a pretty good view across the fields there, and through this one here. Just you imagine they were thinking, yeah, you know, if the Germans were coming across the fields, this was basically the third line of defence for this country around the south. Wonderful. The third slit here. Look at that. Well, yeah, I thought the other side of the camera, just to, well, make a change. This is the command centre, and it's absolutely flooded down here, so there's nothing we can do. But just imagine this whole area, all underneath here, is where there was all the communications. They were running everything. They were operating the whole show from here. Okay, now I'm going to hand over the audio to my nephew. He seems to know. He can talk about, actually, as we can't get underground, he's going to say from above ground, and you're going to have to try and use imagination. Right. Okay, Robert, go ahead.
Underneath the tree you see directly in front of us, there is the telecommunications room.
Telecommunications.
Directly in front of us under the ground is where the storehouse would have been, which was in the first of the doors you saw in the other clip. Okay. There's the main entrance you can see.
Yep, which is where I just appeared.
Then go down and turn left into a corridor directly here, which would lead to a WC, and then the second main control room, which is just here, going out to this little barrier thing.
Okay, right.
And then you'd come back round in front of this observation tower, round underneath where you can see the escape hatches over here, and then left into the tower.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, sir. And there's a mortar emplacement here, so literally would have been a gun set up there, boom, straight over the top of that pillbox to whoever was crawling across the fields out there. Okay, now there's a second part of this wood, which is the other side of the track here, and that's still within the actual perimeter, but not this outer perimeter track. But anyway, apparently in here, we're going to go see, there was a tunnel dug, and it was an emergency escape tunnel, and it ran right underneath this field. And right over to those buildings there, as you can see, wartime buildings there, and then off over to Thornley Church. So they literally, if worst comes to the worst, they would have got out. It's still underneath there. We're not going to be going down there. I think it's all blocked off now, but we can at least see the entrance. So let's get over there and have a look. Okay, so in here, this is the entrance to the tunnel. In here, apparently. And it works its way, follow me, underneath here and right across the field. Okay, here's part of an old trench here. We're in the small part of the wood now. We just come around another pillbox here, and this still is in its original position because nothing's grown up in front of it. We are literally looking straight out across the fields there. Every part of this wood, every corner of this wood has got one of these, so they're literally, they wouldn't miss a thing. And somebody didn't miss me. Must be a lone paintballer's got me. Sniper, right in the ankle. Look at that. Didn't feel a thing. Look at this. It's been hanging there for 80 years. It's just grown into the tree there. Look at that. They would have been hanging on a nail. It's completely disappeared. The bark has gone right round it. Fantastic. Some more evidence there of the war. So that's an old barrel of some description. We're just working our way down. There's just so much. So imagine metal detecting here. Believe me, the signals, it's going off all the time. There's an awful lot of rubbish. Did find quite a few live rounds, 303, but no cat badges, few coins, an old threepence and a shilling from about the 1940s. But we're now coming down into a small part of the wood, and I think I remember there's a great big pillbox right down at the other end. Let's go and have a look. Now this one, this is my favourite. This is a real beautiful pillbox. Look at it, it's like some castle ruin. Oh, getting a bit of contre-jour there with the old sun behind, bit of backlighting. It's silhouette-y, but let's see. So here we are, there's an entrance in here. You see this, I love that brickwork design. I mean, that's quite decorative for a wartime bunker. Let's just have a look round here. Pillbox, I should say. It's just lovely. It looks like some sort of castle ruin, actually, this one. You know, it's raised up on this almost like this motte. Yeah? Let's go around here. Look at the sun shining down. It's a beautiful dash of light going on. Let's have a look. There's a look out. That's actually been bricked up, but that would have looked across the fields there. Anything else around here? Wow, nature's really taken over, but wonderful. So that's the end of our visit to this wonderful wood, and yes, another pillbox here. And on this Remembrance Sunday, I think we should just thank those who gave us the opportunity to carry on and have a great life. I personally wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the war, though. My mother was bombed down in London as a baby, and my father was at an airbase, lived near an airbase in Surrey, and then they moved together in Bishop Stortford. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the war. My nephew, who's on the other side of the camera, yeah, Robert, you wouldn't be here too. So we're not going to thank the war for it, but that's just the way it goes. That's history, and don't we love it? See you again.